What's up, my guys and geeks? As you all know, I love Star Wars, and Star Wars has a vast universe with so many different characters for everybody to explore and love. So today I decided to hop in and rank my top 5 favorite Star Wars characters from my least favorite to my most favorite. If you're going to enjoy this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit that notifications bell for the next awesome video I upload. And be sure to comment down below who your 5 favorite Star Wars characters are. And we're going to kick it right off with the Clone Trooper Fives.
You don't believe me!
Now, Fives is an interesting character. He's part of the 501st, first introduced to us in the Clone Wars animated series as a member of Domino Squad. And at first it looked like Domino Squad wasn't going to be able to graduate from the Clone Academy, but they all banded together, Fives, Echo, Heavy, Droid Bait, and Cut Up, and managed to get their act together and win even though the odds were stacked against them.
No, not 5. 5s.
And afterwards, Domino Squad immediately goes through a number of trials which lead to Droid Bait, Cut Up, and Heavy dying on their first real mission. And then Echo and Fives are forced to defend Kamino from an incoming separatist invasion. But my absolute favorite part about Fives has to be his arc in the Clone Wars, where he uncovers the conspiracy behind Order 66. Now, Fives realizes that one of his friends, a fellow clone, has malfunctioned and activated Order 66 early. And as he tries to figure out why this clone apparently had what they're classifying as a mental break, he ultimately uncovers the inhibitor chips inside every single clone's mind and attempts to convince somebody, anybody, that there's a conspiracy to overthrow the Republic and the Jedi, and that the clones are being used and that somebody is manipulating them.
Not to me. And not to any clone.
And he even figures out that it's the Chancellor, but nobody believes him before he is ultimately gunned down. And Fives is just an amazing character because of his tenacity, his ferocity, his likable personality. He's very enthusiastic about wanting to do his job and do it right, and he's very loyal, wants to protect his brothers and his fellow clones, and he's also very loyal to the Jedi, wanting to protect them no matter what. And he has a very strong sense of right and wrong, and I just love every single episode we get with him in the Clone Wars. Next up in 4th place has to be the classic Obi-Wan Kenobi.
It's over, Anakin! I have the high ground!
Even with a less than stellar Disney Plus series, I still love the character. All portrayals of him from the original trilogy, the prequels, the animated series, his own TV show. Obi-Wan is just one of those characters who's lovable because you can see how much he's trying. You can see that he is genuinely trying to do the best he can to please everybody around him, to do things to the best of his ability. He wants to properly train Anakin so that he can fulfill his master's dying wish, and he wants so badly for Anakin to turn out better than him and to help Anakin curb in his negative tendencies.
But be patient, Anakin.
But at the same time, he's also intensely loyal to the Jedi and intensely devoted to the rules of the Jedi Council. But even he recognizes that there's times where you have to be willing to break or bend the rules in order to do what's right and get what needs to be done accomplished. He's also got a very good sense of sarcasm. He's a masterful duelist. And we get to see him at so many different stages of his life. So you really feel like you get to know him as you see him go from the unsure and learning Padawan in the original trilogy to the wise Jedi Master in hiding who's able to even outsmart Darth Vader by the time his journey ends in A New Hope.
I shall become more powerful than you can possibly imagine.
And just the way we get so many of these different series like Obi-Wan Kenobi and the Clone Wars that fill in more of his journey between the fall of the Republic and his role in A New Hope. You just really get to know Obi-Wan as a character, and you really appreciate him for his unyielding tenacity. But in third place has to be Captain Rex.
Boss, stay with me, boss.
Rex is just a great character. He's my favorite clone trooper of all time. I think the clones are just fascinating characters with how they're all the same DNA, and yet they all have different personalities and different ideals. And you see with Captain Rex how he takes a lot of influence from his Jedi General, Anakin Skywalker, and how he's a lot more willing to break and bend the rules, but he never compromises on what's right. He's always willing to fight to the absolute end, and it's just so captivating to see him on screen and to see him doing whatever it takes.
Rex, are you okay?
So glad we got to see more of his journey in Rebels, and I'm hoping he'll show up in a live action project at some point. Enjoyed him in the Bad Batch, and he's just an all-around great character. Alright, before I get into my two favorite Star Wars characters, be sure to join me in the comments down below. Let me know your ranking, and if you think I'm underrating or overrating any characters. But in second place has to be Anakin Skywalker. Really the main character of the entire series, and I've kind of got to lump Anakin and Darth Vader here together because I love both of them so much. And that's the interesting thing. There's room for the debate there. Are they the same person, or are they entirely different personalities that just so happen to be sharing the same body?
You didn't kill Anakin Skywalker.
But getting to see Anakin as he goes from the young kid who's so eager to help everybody around him, and seeing how really the Jedi Council failed him by consistently telling him that him feeling emotions and connecting with the people in his life and caring about the people around him, telling him that that was wrong and that he needed to be emotionless and detached. And you really see how, because he was never taught to properly handle his emotions and his love for those around him, how that kind of corrupts him, how his fear of losing those people that he's grown close to and enduring more loss and hardship, and how his arrogance to a great extent in his abilities and his confidence and his capabilities, how that leads him to turn to Palpatine and the dark side for power to protect Padme, and
just help me save Padme's life.
How in his own desperate need to protect those around him, he actually ends up causing everybody around him to abandon him and leave him, either through death or by refusing to join him on the dark side. Obi-Wan! Obi-Wan! And his redemption arc is just incredible, getting to see how he comes back to truly being a Jedi, how he remembers that it was his love for those around him that led him down this path in the first place, and how he allows his love for his son to triumph over his desire to rule the galaxy and prove himself to his master.
I am a Jedi, like my father before me.
So Anakin, definitely the main character of Star Wars, and if you like a compelling character arc, he's gotta be one of your favorite Star Wars characters. But in first place, I went with one of the bad guys. There's just something about incredibly compelling villains that I love watching so much more than a lot of the good guy characters. And my first place has to be Darth Maul.
Kenobi.
He's just an amazing character. From the moment he shows up in Phantom Menace, you get a sense of the menace around this character, of how much danger and power there is seeping inside of this one person. And
at last we will have revenge.
And then through the Clone Wars, you get him expanded on so much. You get to see his vulnerabilities, how he was manipulated by the dark side, his rage at Obi-Wan, his love for his brother, his hatred for the Sith and the Jedi, and how he's the one who's more so than most of the Jedi trying to stop Order 66.
I was hoping for Kenobi. Why did Kenobi send you?
He knows what's happening. He tries to warn people, but they're unwilling to believe him. They're unwilling to believe that Palpatine and Anakin are the threats that Maul claims they are. And that leads to the fall of the Republic.
You're all going to burn! We're all going to die! You don't know what you're doing!
And we just get to see him through so many different points in his life. He's amazing in Rebels. He's amazing in pretty much everywhere that he shows up. And he just gets such an incredible backstory. And honestly, some of his fight scenes are my absolute favorite fight scenes in the entirety of Star Wars.
He will avenge us.
He's just an amazing duelist, an amazing villain, and an amazing character all around, so he has to get the #1 spot. But alright, that's my ranking of my top 5 Star Wars characters. Be sure to give me your ranking in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit that notifications bell for the next awesome video I upload. If you want to see me explain how Star Wars and Stranger Things actually take place in the same universe, you can click on this side of the screen. And if you want to see me rank every MCU movie from the worst to the best, you can click on this side of the screen. But you've only got 3 seconds because this video is about to end. Adios!